have not had an exhibition in Berlin, I think, since it was Hamburger Bahnhof back in 2005. I've been coming through Germany and had a show at Pinakothek like 2 years ago. But it's really a long time since I've been in Berlin, which is a city I love. But also I wanted to say that this work, even though it seems that it was created around woman, life, freedom, revolution, as Marina said, it was created before. And the last thing I want to say before you ask me a question is that even though it references Iran, it's not meant to only speak about Iran or to Iranian people or to be about women of Iran. So I want you to keep that in mind, that I am a real New Yorker, more as much as I am an Iranian. So my point of view is that of an international nomad. And then the photographs and the videos together to me are one work. And they meant to be experienced in the way that they speak to each other. And so the calligraphy is almost like the music to the video. And the poetry I've used is by this iconic Iranian poet, Fotografiska, that in my mind, she's the most radical in a way of talking about the female body and sexual temptation and desire and shame. And she broke all kinds of traditional and religious taboos, which we do here in this work by exposing the naked body and talking about the body as an object of desire and as object of violence. But now, if you have any specific questions, I'm happy to answer. And violence, men and women, mysticism and spirituality and violence and brutality, or nature and culture, and submission and fragility versus rebellion, as many of these women are. So for me, both the characters and the stories that I tell are full of contradictions, full of paradoxes. So I think this idea of black and white, it sort of punctuates this duality. But also I think there's something about black and white that makes everything very timeless and really stark, I like the way that you don't think about time. Even if the video is shot today in New York, there's something about the characters that you're not really paying attention to the realism. I think color is more realistic, if I could say, and black and white makes it more unbelievable, because everything is colorful, So it really fits everything that I do. Shot that video about 2 blocks from where I live, which is mainly immigrant community of Hispanic, heavily Hispanic. There are lots of African Americans or Africans. There's also in Brooklyn, yes, Bushwick, Brooklyn. And so majority of the people come from different places. It's rather poor, working class, and that most of us are from different religion, different languages, different cultures, but yet we are each other's community. And this is what I love about New York, and this is why I always feel very safe. And so when I was imagining this story about a woman who is psychologically insane, more or less, because of the trauma, that somehow she couldn't even distinguish between US, Iran, inside, outside, realism or illusion, that the sheer presence of her wounded body provoked empathy, and that people, although they didn't know why, what happened to her. I mean, again, I insist, this is not a realistic video, this is like a poem. But I'm convinced that, and those people, who are my community, if something happened to me, regardless of the fact that they don't know who I am, where I come from, they will come to my rescue. And so to me, this ending was about how her presence unleashed the rage of others in a sense of solidarity, like in Iran with Mahsa Amini when she was a victim, but it provoked other women and men of Iran to create a revolution. So sometimes we need a victim to see the pain of others to provoke us and the humanity in us, but also that they are themselves suffering from poverty, racism, discrimination. I promise you that all of those people living in my neighborhood have a very tough life, and so. But I take a lot of pleasure of saying that this is my community, no longer Iranian community, because I don't live in Iran. So this is for me why it was important to show this aspect. It's like a point of view of an immigrant, you know, that we have this sense of love and compassion for each other, even though we come from different corners of the world. I mean, I think it's not just about Iran, right? I think it's about most of the countries I know, you know, and I think it's a little bit to do with the religion of Islam that highly discriminates between men and women, basically. But I think you have that in every religious society. You have it all over the Arab world, and I think you have different degrees in Europe and in the United States. So I don't think you can reduce this idea just to Iran. Ironically, I think that, as you know yourself through the Women Life Freedom, that it's true that it's a very patriarchal society, but the women are most powerful. And in fact, 2 Iranian women won the Nobel Peace Prize, and some of our most outstanding political activists, writers, filmmakers, artists, scientists, athletes are a woman of Iran. So, I think that the men have lost the battle with the Iranian woman, and I really believe that, and as I show in my work, that the more you press the woman against the wall, the most radical they become, and that is why you have women of Iran being constantly so rebellious and always breaking the rules, where maybe in Europe and in America, where they're less against the wall, there's less of a reaction. You see what I'm saying? So I do think it's a male-dominated society, but don't we think that Israel or the Emirates or UK or Germany or many of the places we know of are a male-dominated society? Even culture is male-dominated. So this fight against sexism is not exclusive to Iran, but it's extreme. It's extreme, and therefore it has cultivated the kind of feminism we have, which is, I think, beautiful. I think that the women of Iran wouldn't have been so brilliantly defiant had it not been for the social climate they live in. They're fearless. They're truly fearless.
Tomorrow is the International Women's Day. Is that a good occasion to highlight the struggle for empowerment and emancipation in Iran and elsewhere?
Yes, I think any day is a good day.
It should be any day, not
any
only
day.
the 8th of March.
I think that we don't need just one day to celebrate. I think I go back to Women Life Freedom, which is most moving, because Iranian women are giving birth to the first female-led revolution, and it was really outstanding to see that a country that the women have least power were so powerful, and I think that was most inspiring for the rest of the world, and I think that, you know, sometimes revolutions happen, you know, when people are under extreme pressure, you know, and why isn't it happening in Germany or in France or Italy or other places? Because there's this soft kind of feminism, you know, it's not so on your face, you know, but there is a hierarchy between men and women. But that's not something I mean, my work has always been about a celebration of being a woman. So I see it that way. I have no idea. I don't have like a fatwa. Yeah, it's a choice that I make. But my family live in Iran. It's just highly recommended, you know. With this government, I just don't fantasize about being trapped. None of us do, I think. I like freedom too much. Yes.
And do you know how accessible?
You know, we don't have a very big visual art culture in Iran. Much more literature and even film and music, of course. So visual art is usually, at my generation, was decoration. But believe it or not, over the years, especially through Women Without Men and the films that was disseminated in piracy, people saw it because that was a very famous book. And then eventually my work through the internet. So I did have once a video in a museum in Tehran, but majority of my work is shown through the internet. And I have tough critics in Iran and outside of Iran, of Iranian people who don't like my work or me, but I also have fans. So, so it's been an interesting role to play because I'm obviously also not entirely Iranian because I was 17 when I moved. So I'm really a product of New York, and my work is very conceptual. And even when I frame political questions, issues, I'm very ambiguous. I don't point fingers. And I think for a lot of Iranian people, it's very confusing because they really rather I do point fingers. So there's a lot that gets lost in this translation because, again, I come from a Western art history, conceptual art, and they don't, majority. And so, but this is all good because it keeps me on my toes, and my fans just keep seeing the work evolving. Often they attack me, a lot of them praise me, but that has been a part of my character, my identification with the Iranian community. Very controversial about a subject that, even though it references Iran, is not just about Iran. And therefore I have, my challenge is much vaster, but also I have never a total command of truth, or I can never talk about reality because I'm not entirely Iranian, I never even go there, but I'm not entirely Western. You see what I'm saying? So I think even the work you just saw, it's full of pollution. It borrows from Night Porter, the movie Night Porter, which is obviously Western too, but then it uses calligraphy. So, so the work is an embodiment of my kind of hybridity.
Photos with persons with this risk.
If you lean forward with your head, just a little forward, please. No, your head a little forward. Chin down. Yeah. Could you a little more? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And lower your chin a bit. Bit more. Bit more. Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
It's cool.
Okay.
You did it.
If you you can hold it.
tricked me.
Hold it with your hand. No, I told you it's two. I told you that.
Like this?
Yeah, except you should try to
Yeah.
put
Of course, you don't want those things.
inside so it doesn't hang out on your chin. And I put this inside. That's very good. That's very good. That's perfect. Go move, please.
In Zoom reingemacht.